At one time when I contemplated the Sankhāra or the mental formations, I saw it clearly that it was an Attā. There was no self, no I nor they. I saw it so clearly that I became bored and wished to contemplate it no more. But, later when I tried to contemplate it again, I couldn't see it as clearly. What's the cause of this change?
Most of those who practice Samadhi have that kind of experience. In the end they will turn out a failure. They are not capable of maintaining the Samadhi state. This is because the way they see it is not constituted by Paññā, Vipassana, or the wisdom that comes right out of Magga, the Righteous Eightfold Path. That seeing, on the contrary, comes from Jhana. It might give one a clear vision, so that one becomes bored and all, but it is the kind of boredom that is mixed with anger, dosa, void of rational basis. Therefore, the heart turns toward unrest and develops more of the mental depression and pathos. To make it short, I shall conclude it this way: the one who sees that the body is an Attā may come to hold on to one's own view so that the view becomes crystallized into an Attā, that is, so possessed that it has become implanted into the self. This means that when one does not rationalize the constituent of an Attā, one's knowledge will be limited. And one will eventually become bored with the usual contemplation of the subject. This means the heart is beginning to deteriorate from the stage of Dhamma it once reaches. Later, as soon as one realizes that one is no more capable of a clear perception as one used to get, one finds that the past experiences have also become hazy. Therefore, meditation students should take this into consideration and should be very cautious. Some misunderstand that they have come to the end of the mundane life. Why is it so? Because even if they have contemplated an Attā in everything, they have unwittingly fostered it into an Attā.
To say that one is void of kilesa or defilements, does this mean that the kilesa is completely gone, no more hanging around? Or, does it mean that the kilesa is still there, but unable to defile the heart, due to the stronger power of sati, awareness, samadhi, calm, and paññā, wisdom?
The various mental defilements are called kilesa. The sources of kilesa are the six senses, namely the eyes, for example. To say that one is void of kilesa means exactly what it says literally. The teacher does not say that the kilesa is completely gone with nothing left as when the fire has burned down the straws. The teacher simply means that the citta is not being entangled in the snare of the various mental holders, which are going to stain and stifle the heart. Of course, the kilesa is still the kilesa, just as it naturally is. In a certain expression, it is retranslated as one who is far from all kilesa. I myself do not know how far gone is the citta from the kilesa, and how can it turn itself afar. This is only an idiom. As a matter of fact, it probably means that no more does one take hold of the kilesa. No more does one defile one's heart. All this is the result of the power of sati, samadhi, and paññā, which have been efficiently developed. Whatever is said is interesting, all right. Is there anything else you would like to speak of or discuss? Let me hear of your views on your past experiences, or your views on your meditation practice.
May I have permission? When we suffer a great deal from physical illness, should we try to maintain our calm, or should we contemplate the feeling of suffering and fight it off?
Either way will do. That is, some who suffer from the pain severer than they can bear will need to fight it off by calm, that is, leaving everything completely out of the consciousness. This is possible. That is, they turn toward calm and free the heart so that it reaches the state of calm fully, becoming altogether unconscious. They can drop themselves in that state for an hour or two. And as soon as the heart withdraws, whatever illness or pain may absolutely disappear. There are many cases like this. Those who use this method, of course, is not going through a hardship or adventure. They merely seek an asylum, as if running into a safety ditch upon an air raid. When the bombers come, they are afraid, so they run into the ditch. Anyway, those who can use this method must be very keen indeed. Their heart must be brave in order to succeed. Yet, the success is not always achieved. I knew of a Chinese man who liked to follow this method. He belonged to a very old generation that still preferred wearing pigtails. This Chinese man practiced meditation by himself and was capable of attaining calm all along. He did not have to eat ordinary food. He usually kept a bag of dried rice with him. Whenever he was hungry, he would hold the dried rice in his mouth and continued to sit in meditation. A superior monk observed this and made a remark to him, "Uncle, is this comfortable?" "Yes, it is comfortable even without food." The Chinese man also lived in the midst of wild animals in the forest. Even tigers came to bear children in the same cave he lived. They lived in the same place and had no fear. This type of person had a great deal of loving kindness for animals. He had sympathy for them, identifying himself with those animals. Nevertheless, right before his last breath, as someone told me, I did not see him myself, this Chinese man became quite restless. He became unconscious of what he was doing. Another story, there was a monk, who was the same way. At the time he was dying in his cell, he was in a terrible commotion. He could not hear his brother's call. They had to break in the door. Finally, he died without an awareness. These are examples of the ones who practiced only for the sake of calm. There is no wisdom involved. Principally speaking, it is the practice in which one dwells in the state of jhana, or living in jhana. This method may be useful, but only on some occasions. You cannot count on it seriously. That is, if you are going to be completely free from sufferings and their causes, you need wisdom. It is not possible to use calm by itself. As you see, calm is useful on occasions, but not all the time. Therefore, the best way is, when the feeling of suffering occurs, one should contemplate it in accordance with the method of satipatthana, method of conducing consciousness, so that one is capable of perceiving it indifferently, without possessing such a feeling as part of the self. Having a clear perception on the basis of this justification, one will release oneself of possessiveness in the various physical and mental activities. At the same time, one will eventually acquire a kind of measurement of oneself. Since we are concerned with our physical and mental activities, we can see their various states, as they really are. We can see how much we can free ourselves of possessiveness. This is walking along the path of righteousness, which is considered Vipassana wisdom. It is very useful to follow the Righteous Eightfold Path. To face the problem and to contemplate it will convert it to wisdom, which can make us capable of freeing ourselves from attachment. This is why the best way is that after we have practiced calm sufficiently, we should learn to contemplate problems. It will be very good to be able to make use of both methods.